latest on Cyclone Cilida, which has weakened quite a bit since the last update, but still a Category 4 storm with winds of 130 miles per hour and a pressure estimated of 945 millibars. The storm is now at 16.5 degrees south, 58.2 degrees east, and is now down to a stage 5 on the CDPS extensive damage likely. The storm is moving to the southeast now, so the threat to Mauritius has decreased just a little bit, although it's only 98 miles from St. Brandon and 256 miles from Port Louis. The storm is now expected to deliver tropical storm force winds to Mauritius, but hurricane force winds and major hurricane force winds are now becoming a less likely probability. Class 2 warnings remain in effect in Mauritius, and a cyclone pre-alert is in effect in Réunion at this time as the Category 4 storm draws ever nearer. One of the main threats from this storm now will be the rainfall, of course. Here is a chart from the GFS model showing what's expected through Saturday into early Sunday morning. We expect the worst of the storm to pass Mauritius late Saturday night or the very early hours of Sunday morning prior to sunrise, with the storm moving away from Mauritius later on Sunday and clearing the area completely by Sunday night. The storm could deliver hurricane force gusts to the island, but it doesn't appear as though hurricane force winds sustained will reach the island now at this point, especially with its continued movement towards the southeast. Sea surface temperatures currently look like this, around 27 degrees Celsius. Certainly warm enough for the storm to sustain itself at this intensity, but the reason why it's weakened in the last few hours is because a collapse of the western eye wall has caused some sort of upheaval to occur within the storm's eye wall at this time. However, there is still room for re-strengthening, and the HWRF model at least thinks that it could re-strengthen to mid-range Category 4 status for a brief time as it passes Mauritius on Saturday night. For the time being, it is weakening a little bit, and it could weaken continually over the next few days if things go against the storm. Again, the storm is likely to make its closest approach around midnight or the early hours of Sunday morning from the northeastern part of Mauritius. Now a 50% chance of the storm striking St. Brandon with tropical storm force winds. It's pretty close. 60% chance of it hitting Port Louis with tropical storm force winds, and now 20% chance on Rodrigues. If the storm veers too far to the east, Rodrigues may have a chance of tropical storm force winds as well. The models are all calling for weakening now as it happens, and that is because, not completely due to wind shear, but that will become a bigger factor later on, especially when wind shear begins to rise substantially. But it may well be down to some dry air. The western side of the storm is less wet than the eastern side due to that dry air, and the eastern side certainly contains the strongest winds at the minute. So for Mauritius, it's starting to look a little bit better from what looked like a pretty dangerous scenario that we were looking at yesterday. Here's the latest satellite imagery looking back around 12 hours up until the present time, and you can see just how much the eye wall has deteriorated in that passage of time, and its movement towards the southeast, which is taking it on a diversion away from Mauritius. However, those on the island should remain cautious and stay prepared for tropical storm force winds or possibly worse. You can follow Force 13's outlets, the website force13.com. You can also find our YouTube channel. If you're not there already, you may well be. Good chance of that. Subscribe if you haven't. You can also find our Facebook page, search Force 13 all in text, and our Twitter handle, it's @Force13 on there. You can also help the project become even better by becoming a patron. You can see more information about all the benefits involved by visiting patreon.com/Force13. Of course, you can come into direct contact with us by messaging Fool13 on Discord at extension 9094 and Force13 on Skype. And our partners are also doing updates, Mateo e Cyclone Maurice on Facebook.